Right, I know I played this in the previous video, but there's so much in this 50-second clip from this moron, this lunatic. And I've caught him in a blatant lie, which I didn't put in the previous video, so I'm going to replay it. Sorry for the brain cells that you may lose listening to the moron speak. I mean, he's got a monotone moron voice, and I know it's not very pleasant to listen to his rambling. Maybe it's not pleasant to listen to mine too, but I can tell you something. I caught him in an absolute lie, and I will produce that evidence for you right after this. Just take a look at how he lied. Straight-faced lie.
Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science, the most authentic voice in true crime. Do you remember the last clue we discussed? Number 5 dealt with darkness. The idea that when the campground was under cover of night, and it was moonless after midnight on the 6th, it was pitch dark. The only area visible would be the strip of illuminated dirt road a few meters in front of the moving vehicle. The woods, drop-offs and water, unless directly in front of the headlights, would be invisible. There are also no signs or other configurations, no landmarks, to signal one area on a particular road that was different to another area. I thought those first 5 clues were sufficient to...
So this lunatic says there was no moon the night Kiely drove into the lake that night. Well, you busted, buddy. It was 3.5 days away from full moon, so there was definitely a very, 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 very seriously bright moon out that night. You filthy, filthy, lying disgrace to humanity. This is going to nail you. I'm going to take you down. I'm going to take you down. You're hell-bent on protecting Sammy, and I'm hell-bent on stopping you. I'm going to work on a case. I'm going to file a case against you, you serial, filthy, perverted liar. And here's something new for you to get sick over. He's also hell-bent on discrediting Adventures with Purpose, the people who found Kiely Rodni. He seems very upset about them. Strange that the other people involved in this case that are actually suspicious are also very upset about him. The mother, Jagger, Sammy, all upset, and he's also upset. And guess who he defends? He defends the mother, Sammy, and Jagger. Yes. Listen to this man. Listen to him. Because one of these days, his day's coming. You know, I've always wanted a monkey as a pet. And today, now, I actually finally have one. And his name is Nick. Nick the rocket scientist.
Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science, the most authentic voice in true crime. Well, I've got to say I was quite surprised to read this article, also quite surprised that no one else has spoken about it. It's been out for quite a few days. This is a quote from a Fox News article that came out about 4 days ago on Wednesday, and there's actually kind of harsh criticism for Adventures with Purpose in that article. This is a quote from the article. Bishop said he became a certified diver in 2020. Waters was particularly upset by Bishop's foul play theory. Waters called Adventures with Purpose irresponsible for publicly broaching their foul play theory. Then she said, 90% of vehicles found with people in it, they're normally found in the back. If it's an SUV, they're in the hatch. End quote. Now, I must say, when I read those sentences in that Fox News article, I must admit I was pretty confused. For starters, AWP have had a hero's welcome everywhere, not only on true crime channels, but the mainstream media as well. Almost to a fault, everyone has hailed AWP as those who made the long-awaited breakthrough in the Kiely Rodni case.
And he will now proceed after this to slate AWP in the video. But that's enough for one day on him. I will reveal what else he's done and what else he's come up with to try and smear and discredit them as conspiracy theorists in the next video. It really is quite amazing how many people live in fear. They to the point of not actually living. The week of September 11, 2001, 3 days later, I flew overseas to Thailand. Everyone said I was crazy. Everyone at home said, "Stay home, you don't know what's going to go down." And I said, "Hey, they blow me up in a plane. Who cares? I'm going on holiday. I'm not going to let that stop me." And it was amazing. I was the only person in the hotel in Thailand. One man. One guest. Everyone else cancelled. One guest in a huge hotel. It was a little awkward at supper that night when they had hired a musician, a very romantic sort of French kind of a dude, I think it was, who was singing. I was the only person in the dining room, and he was serenading me. And it was very awkward. And I think it must have been pretty awkward for him too. And it was such a surreal experience. Nobody there but me in that hotel. And I love it. It was a fantastic experience. So fear, fuck fear. I couldn't care less about fear. I mean, I'm getting on now. I've partied my life. Now 63. I can look back and say, hey, I did a few things in my time. I partied, I gambled, I womanized, I've been to some very, very interesting places. I've traveled just about the entire world. Been in some brawls, been in some strange and bizarre situations, which someday, if God spares me, I might tell you about some of the crazy things, like waking up in a seedy side street pub where there was cockfighting going on in Bangkok. And I'll tell you about that whole entire story. It was actually quite hilarious. I didn't know how I got there. But anyway, as I say, people live in fear. And I shall never live in fear. I never bow to fear. And I certainly don't fear telling the truth. That is one thing I'm very well known for. People used to put me on a gagging order at parties or at dinner parties because they knew that I'm the kind of person who speaks his mind. I don't know if you ever saw Seinfeld and you saw Cosmo Kramer, the character there. He was the kind of guy who could just never, ever not say what was on his mind. And I am like that to a point. I used to try not to, just blurt out, but sometimes I couldn't. It's almost a form of Tourette syndrome, I suppose. And I would just blurt out when people are talking the absolute biggest pile of bullshit and drop the bomb and fuck the whole atmosphere at the table up. So I was always on a gagging order when my friends invited me around for dinners. So please, guys, don't be afraid to share the videos. Well, be afraid if you want to, but that's on you. Right, that's all for now. I'm going to keep my videos short. I'm going to apply the 6-minute rule for a while, see how that goes, because I know the people have a short attention span that lasts about 6 minutes. And I've always applied the 6-minute rule to movies. I give a movie 6 minutes. If the movie doesn't, in 6 minutes, capture my attention, I don't watch it. And I walked out of 2 of the most famous movies of all time. I've only watched 6 minutes of them each. Top Gun and Star Wars. I couldn't take either, and I was a kid then, 15, 14, I can't remember how old I was at that stage. But I walked out and I said, no ways, I'm not sitting through this absolute horseshit. So, until next time, take care.
Oh, fuck off.
Alrighty then.